Brooks Seltzer.
Brooks, protein back. Brooks Seltzer. Brooks Seltzer.
Hold on.
Cool. Well, we are into this episode of the CAYACast. Today I am joined by Mr. Lorkenberg,
Yes.
everybody.
Hello.
Jared van I'm
me.
Brad, and today our guests on the CAYACast are Sindiso and Khumo, Mr. InsertCoinz himself. Welcome after the successful release of Visa. We're with him in a release cycle. We're going to chat all sorts of exciting things. We've already discussed alcohol on that note. Shout out to Brooks for
Shout out to Brooks.
Thank you, Brooks.
getting the homies hydrated. I'm not sure if this is hydration, but anyways, we're going to get into
Hydrated
it.
and liquidated.
Why don't you each introduce yourself? Introduce yourself briefly.
What do you do?
I think we'll start. I've already kind of teased Cindy, so you start and then Khumo, and then we'll bring it in.
No, say less. Shout out to homies for having us. The name is Sindiso. Surname is Khumo. And in the streets, they know me as InsertCoinz. I'm a creative entrepreneur. I'm a DJ. I make music. I'm model. Like, I do everything. I'm an all-rounder. I like stuff. I like
Yes,
things.
boy. Yes.
So, yeah.
Amen to that. Cheers. Thank you for being
Shout out.
here.
Jack of all
trades.
Jack of all trades,
Yeah.
exactly. Jack of all trades, master of none. Is often
Master of all.
Do
No,
you know the phrase? Do you know the original phrase?
But
I
he's a
jack of
master
all
of all.
trades.
But you
a
know
master
the
of
full
none,
phrase.
But better than
Jack of no
better
trades, master of
one.
all.
There you go.
man.
Better than a
There
master
you
of
go.
one.
Yeah.
Jack of all trades represent. Cool. Khumo.
Oh, okay. I'm Khumo, surname Tepe. Originally from Pretoria, came to Cape Town just to see the city. I ended up staying longer than I should have.
So it was just a visit at the start.
Yeah, it was actually just for a job interview and
Okay.
then out, and then I ended up staying. Like,
Crazy.
I quit my job
Permanent.
on a flight to here.
Amen.
Do you know what's crazy?
Okay.
Okay, so that's a good-
Can I please add on
Yes,
on him?
please.
It's crazy because I also came here 2010 for the World Cup holidays. I
Yo, that
enjoyed the
wasn't
fuck of
elite.
holidays.
That's a long time ago.
You get me?
That was
And you didn't leave.
No, I left. I came back after tears.
Okay.
After tears, like, I need to go back.
I'm done.
So it's been home ever since
okay. So how did you? So you moved here then in what year?
2012.
2012.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're going on
You
10
moved
years.
here 2019.
Yeah, 10
When
years.
when did you guys meet?
Yo.
We've always been seeing each other in the streets.
Yeah. YT, you know.
Yeah, YT,
Yes, the meeting
yeah.
place.
But then I think the past year.
Yeah, I think it was 2021 when because I was 2019, 2020, I was working for an online magazine. I was an editor. So I worked with a lot of artists and whatnot. And also in Joburg, before I came here, I was managing just one artist. Shout out to Trap Sweetheart. Yeah.
Shout out.
So,
Have a good shout
and
out.
then I got here, and then I would always see them around, and then and then one day, Mzwa asked me, "Hey, don't you wanna come with me to one of my gigs and then just gig around?" And then, because I'm looking for someone else who knows at least the experience of clubs and whatnot. I'm like, sure, cool. We did it once, and then there was a time I went to Old Biscuit Mill, spoke to the guys there, and then they were like, "Short." And I was like, oh, okay. Because I was just saying, no, I have this friend who DJs, what. And then they're like, oh, we know him. Can you bring also InsertCoinz? I'm like, sure, I'm sure I can. And then since then, it's been...
So you manage Coins, you manage Mzwandile
And Elston.
and Elston.
Yeah.
Okay.
What a
And-
lineup.
And we're gonna contextualize the Broke Boys as well for the people that don't know. And like, I think that's an ecosystem that I'm really, really interested to get a better understanding of. I felt like that was a fairly good word to describe
I
it.
also still don't understand it because
Okay.
it's very intense. Like every time I explain to people, because people when they see me, they think now because I manage them, I'm also like responsible for everything Broke does, and I'm like, okay, no, this is how
Definitely
it's
not.
done. I deal with this. If you want to do that, you can talk to me. I can tell them, but then in general, you have to actually
Yeah.
for
It
this-
goes to them.
for this
That's where
section,
the
for
buck
this-
stops.
Yeah.
Okay, so explain for everyone who who doesn't know, and
Shame on you if you don't.
I'm gonna, yeah, I know, for those living under a literal rock. And I'll start with you, Khumo,
No, it's
first.
better to start with him. 'cause
Okay.
He understands.
Okay, I'll start with.
Yeah.
I was gonna switch it up, but it's fine. I'll start with Sindiso. What is broke in as simple as possible, you know, as coherent as possible, so people can understand relatively simply. What does broke mean to you? What does that mean to you?
Okay, I'll have to start with the abbreviation, of course, because I feel like it further explains the mission and the vision. So, broke is an abbreviation for being rebellious over conforming to expectations. That explains what we're here to do, our intention. We here to rebel against the norm, against the way of doing things. We're here to get rid of the gatekeepers, the gatekeeping. We're here to get rid of all the unnecessary energy that is surrounding the creative space. So that's our intention, that's our mission, that's our vision.
So I'm going to pause you for a second,
Close
just
the
because
window.
I've remembered the window is open.
Windows open. Windows open, which means the sound.
sorry,
Dory. Sorry, Dory. Oops.
Luckily, we grabbed it early.
Clip this, by the way.
Was it clipping?
your arm. I don't want to.
Was it clipping?
No. Clip
So, like,
this.
clip it for a reel to make it into a reel.
On the sound?
Oh, no, it's just
No.
unnecessary noise in the background. Yeah.
We interrupt this broadcast.
So just a follow-up question on your answer. So I just want to hear how you guys actually came up with the name Broke. Was there other ones that you were maybe thinking about, and how did Broke like?
Or with the other abbreviation.
Yeah, and then what made you choose specifically? Okay, Broke.
That one.
Yeah, because I know it's not only
What
because
was
of the acronym.
decision-making
Yeah.
process?
Like it sounds sick as well, and like
Yeah,
obviously
yeah,
thinking
It's-
ahead, I
there's
can put
there's
this.
lots of levels.
I can put this on clothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Initially, how Broke came about is okay, let me put this into context. Myself and Original, who is Andile, be cousins. So we've always been around the environment that we're in right now. So our brothers used to have a brand. They used to do everything that we're doing. We got it from our brothers. So we're always those guys who are like, you know, we're known through our brothers. Like, oh, whenever you see us in the streets, they're like, oh, it's those one of the lighties.
Yeah.
Then we got to a point where like, oh, we're tired of being the lighties. How about we do our own thing? Then Ace used to have a cap. It was written Broke Boys. And we fucked with that because we felt like it resonated with us because of our financial situation, for one, and two, no one wants to relate to the word broke. We're like us, we're gonna take it and run with it.
Make it
'Cause-
something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And initially, how we officiated ourselves is we were at Bob's Bar
Bob's.
many moons ago. We had Bob's Bar. Remember
Rand
those
shots.
1 rand shots?
One rand shot.
Yes, yeah, the 1 rand shots. The 1 rand shots. So
One rand
we
shots.
got
Was
there.
it
Legendary.
those like fruity ones, eh?
Those, I don't know, they were weird shots.
You have no idea what's in
I don't know what the fuck it is.
It's some liquor.
Yeah.
Gets the job done.
It's alcohol, but like
That used to be one of the pit stops on Long Street. It was
Yes,
either
sir.
there or a Bantu. And you
Yeah,
go
that
there for
one
like
I want to.
Bantu with the 10 rand Springbok shots.
10 rand Springbok shots. yo.
Yeah, so we got there, we're like 10 of us, and we bought like 200 rand shots. The table was like filled with shots, bro.
200 rand shot. 200 shots.
Oh my god!
I'm just trying to
get me.
picture that in my mind.
So like, we're like, and we sat there watching those shots, we're like, we really broke boys.
That's a broke boy
You
flex.
get me?
look at all those shots. How
Before
much
we
you pay?
start our
200
night,
rand.
like the thinking, the happy hour started from 9 till 10. So before we go out, we go there first. We take those 1 rand shots. We know like our night is already set. That's when we started
Think
like,
if you
yo,
have a 20 rand, you have 20 shots.
you get me? You good.
Regardless of what's in there, you're
You
sorted.
good.
You're good.
So like that's how it came about.
Okay.
Wow.
Damn, that's
Then the
interesting.
abbreviation,
Bob's Bar.
okay, the abbreviation came about during lockdown. Lockdown we stay together as the boys. So like we're chilling. But like this is it. Like this is life. This is our new life.
Mm.
And before that, we're taking a 2-year gap. You know, we were a 2-year break. We're on a break for 2 years. We're like, we saw everything shift. We're like, actually, how about we bring back the brand? You know, because now we've got this time to ourselves. 24/7, we're all chilling together. 24/7. No one's going out. No one's doing anything. Like we're all chilling. We're all at home together. Like, what's the point of sitting down, like being on the internet, rather than putting our thing into structure? How about we change our business plan? How about we change our business model and everything? So we sat down and like, I bet if we're coming back, what are we bringing to the table? You know, what are we standing for? That's how the abbreviation came about. The abbreviation came out just like us sitting here. Someone like, oh, for me, B, how about we go B? But like, and then someone's like, the next one. That's how it came about. Like,
So it was
we
just
all
figuring out each
contributed.
letter,
Everyone came
basically.
with a different way.
Just brainstorming.
Like riffing.
Yeah. So that's how it came about. Then I remember we did BRO, then we're stuck.
K's a hard one, hey.
We're
K's a
stuck.
hard
We're
one.
like, damn.
Kangaroo.
Some of us, we smoke a lot of weed. So we kept on smoking up. Then I forgot who came up with the word conforming. But like, how about we don't conform to the norm and change conforming to a K?
And therein not
Therein lies
conforming.
the
They're like,
non-conformity.
Then after we got conforming, we're like, what are we conforming to? Then I don't know, someone just came up with being rebellious over conforming to everyone's expectations. We're like, be gone.
Nice.
Then we're like, that's the one.
And Broke was born.
And with that,
And I think like it something like I think already you guys have done that in terms of what you were saying about like changing how people relate to the word broke. I think without a doubt.
no, genuinely in
already
Cape
done
Town, and it'll only grow.
and
I'm assuming.
Joburg,
And Joburg,
bloody hell
Joburg,
from the last
jeez.
couple of months.
Yeah, in Cape Town and Joburg, I feel like the word broke has like a completely new meaning because it now has a lifestyle of non-conformity, which it's amazing how you can change the sort of like identity and notions of a word and just completely flip it on its head and bring a new sort of exciting lifestyle and culture and a new identity to being a broke boy.
Yeah.
I think that's end goal. And I think that's
And cheers to
Cheers
you
to
guys
that.
for doing it. Let's loop out of broke a little bit and a bit more directly into your music at the moment because you've recently released a couple of songs.
Yeah.
And there's an EP coming out. When is the EP coming out?
Yeah.
Give us
Look down the camera.
It's not coming out.
It's not coming.
But to give them like an example, Visa, that was like what? You said like 2 years? Almost 3 years in the works?
Yeah.
So
banger.
yeah. So I
Worth
don't blame me for not releasing a...
Yeah.
So
If you're not happy.
what's the plan? What's the plan with your music at the moment? Where are you taking that?
I'm gonna backtrack a bit. Going back to broke, happening
Go for it.
in lockdown. Also me, like I feel like lockdown. That's when like we got to like sit down and introspect and try and find a purpose. Cause we're like before then, everyone's living a fast life. We didn't know, like it was all vibes. You get me? Then lockdown happened and it showed us, life can change at any moment. Like that was like a wake up call for a majority of us. That was the birth of podcasts. You know, like podcasts started picking after lockdown, and I feel like, the album not even feeling like I sat down to myself. I was like, I'm trying to do this music thing, and I've been doing music for a while. I was like, let me give myself a challenge. Let me work on an album. You know, that's how the song, the Visa and them, like I made Visa the first year of lockdown, like that period, the first 6 months of thing. That's when the album was coming up out, you know?
Was that 2020?
Yeah, 2020.
Wild. Yeah.
Just a side note. So on that, I know for me, like if I am at like a project editing, like even just for a couple days,
Yeah.
the second day I hate my edit already. It could be
Yeah.
good, but I hate
Yeah.
it. So question for you, do you like Visa or
Vis-
do you like what do you think it's great? Do you
Follow
think
on
it's-
from that.
let me tell you.
And then I've got to follow on
Actually,
from
there's a
that.
good
So
question.
what happened is, now I've been owned a laptop for the past 2, 3, 4 years.
Wild.
So my thing was, I'm gonna challenge myself to start an album by like whatever laptop I get and it has Fruity Loops, I'm working on it.
Cool.
So that's how it came about, the album and everything. So during lockdown, we're chilling with other homies. They their laptop and everything. So like, I made a shit ton of beats, made a lot of beats, and we kept on playing beats like all together. Like I'll play beats and everyone like, now we fuck with this one, now we don't fuck with that one. So we just keep on like adding and deleting and everything. And Visa, no one liked the Visa beat.
Oh.
I hate like, especially the homies.
Stories like this.
The homies didn't like that beat. They're like, this beat, that's the only beat that we're not feeling. We've been playing that beat the whole 2020. Then we get to 2001. Basquiat is... Yeah. 2000...
They found the time machine. They found the time machine. They went all the way back.
Just Brooks went quick, bro.
2021.
Yeah.
Early Jan. Basquiat is on some, let's work on something. I'm like, like I haven't made beats in a while, man. Let me check what I have. Scroll. I see Visa. It's written Visa. It's titled Visa.
It already had a name. You knew
already
it
had a
was
name.
You knew there was something.
Nah, was it? Yeah, it was titled Visa. I sent it to him. It was like 8 p.m. Send it to him. Wake up in the morning. He sent me a thingy, an MP3. It was like around 4. He worked on it overnight. Sent it to me. I'm like, damn. I woke up. I'm like, damn. What the
Damn,
fuck?
did I just make a song? Actually,
What the fuck? I sent it to Ace because Ace is the one who didn't like the beat. I sent it to him. I'm like, yo, dog, listen to this shit. He listens to it. Same time, screen records, he posts it on Instagram. People start going off. Like a couple of hours, he puts the thingy, snippet. I get this other homie. He's a DJ. He calls me. He's like, yo, can I buy the song? I'm like, no way, boy. No way, boy. That's when I knew. That's when I knew, like, we're onto something.
Yeah.
And shout out to Basquiat for their one. He brought life to the beat.
I was going to ask a follow on from that, and I think you kind of elaborated on it in that, but I want to know like a whole number. How many sort of versions did Visa go through before you found the kind of like? How many like adaptations? Like, did it sound very different to how it does now in the beginning? Like when you first made the beat, did it sound very different, or is it? Nah,
it's still the same.
That's
why it sounds minimal as it is. Because it's on some. I lost the project.
It hasn't been overproduced.
You lost the project.
I lost the project, but we fucked with the song, so we couldn't edit the beat. Like the beat.
Okay,
yeah.
So it was set. It was
so like we can't edit the beat, we can't make any changes.
But
so
maybe
we're
that
like,
was good in a way.
that's fate working in your.
Like it's something that I've always thought, especially with like songwriting and creating, is that having a constraint like that, where you actually going into it and you can't change the beat, often forces you to be more creative in terms of what you can control.
What you can
and it's
add
like
to
if you
it.
can control everything, and that's why like songs that can go and be remixed and re-edited and redone and like they sound really like perfect.
Yeah.
But they're overproduced and they don't have a soul anymore. And like, do you feel like having just the master, the render, and then building on top of that, do you think that limited where you would have taken the song, or do you think it's actually improved it?
I feel like it's fine. The thing about me is I'm a kind of person on some. Sometimes I'm okay with 80%. You get me?
Yeah.
I'm okay with 80%.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be 100. So with me, it's like I never try and chase perfection. It's on some. If I'm cool with it, I fuck with it. I run with it. You know?
You're never gonna get perfection.
You get me?
Yeah.
So like with us, that's how we approach all our projects. Most of the times, we feel like we failed because we didn't get to where we want to get. But as long as we made sure that we met most of our checklist, we're good to go. You know, that's our approach.
I think that, like, just because I think it's really important to emphasize, I think that as a creator is such an asset.
Yeah.
As in, like, having the ability to do that.
Yeah.
And because, like, it's creative. You can't get 100%. You will never, ever be at 100%. It's impossible. 100% doesn't exist. And if you spend all your time, like, trying to get just a, like, I'm chasing perfection, you're never going to get there. So you're going to fail, guaranteed. And like, how much time do you save by doing, getting to 80% on a project, finishing it, learning, looping on what you've learned, and, taking the improvement? How much faster do you get to what you thought was 100% anyways?
No,
But then you just have more to go. So I think it's really just important to emphasize that, because that's a strength, dude. That
shout out.
That's huge. I think that's immensely valuable, and people must learn that. Like, you can't be sticking to that.
Khumo, I've got a question for you. I genuinely am very interested in what the life of a sort of a manager in general, and more sort of specifically a DJ manager. What can you share some of your highlights and even some of your lowlights from your time as a manager of DJ? Because I've seen you a couple of times.
That's such an ominous thing to say.
At some of Coin's gigs and Mzwandile's gigs, and you always look like you're having a good time. But I want to know it because it's obviously it's a very glamorous experience for a lot of the time. You're going to these gigs, you're having a great time. You're looking after some of the best talents in Cape Town. But so what are some of the highlights? And then can you also share some of the lowlights of what that sort of like lifestyle is?
I hope this episode is an hour long.
It is. We got a lot of time.
Yo, so how can I put this? It's a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of work. Look, I always make sure that when we at an event, I try to enjoy it so that I don't look stressed. Because if I look stressed, they get stressed. And then when they are stressed, they don't play well, and I get annoyed. They know I get annoyed. If I hear an offbeat, I come to them like,
you're mixing off key,
no. I even came up with this thing. I'm like, you mess up a transition, 100 Rand off your pay.
I love that.
They know we do
Man to that.
Because I'm like, no, you can't.
No
You can't mess up. Like,
error.
we need a clean cut transition of every song, and the set must be fire so that the next day people can say, okay.
If I were to have a party, that's who I'm booking.
Exactly. So it's not always good. It's good when everything runs smooth.
It's good when it's good.
Which it never
Which
does.
it hardly does. Because the problem is, you get there, the promoter promised you A, B, C, D. And then you get there, the promoter's like, so something happened, I can only give you A, B, C. And I'm like, but that's not the agreement.
Sometimes it's only A.
I'm shitting at the promoter. They shitting at me because I told them this is what I was told. And then they come to me and say, no, but then what's happening? We were supposed to get this and this and this, and where is that?
And you go, bro, I organized it. That's what they said they were going to.
My brother, I literally at every event, I could spend the first 20 or 30 minutes to an hour running around, sorting out everything to make sure that when it's time for them to play, everything is properly aligned. Because I even go to a point where I threaten promoters. I'm like, if this is not done by now, we're not going to go on stage. We are leaving. We are leaving.
Good.
Because like, they need to respect the artist.
Yeah.
Like, you can't say, I'm booking InsertCoinz, and then you're like, yeah, I promised him this, but when you get to the day of the show, I'm going to change and say, no, we can't do this. No, don't do that.
No.
Like, it's not like me. When you come, I tell you the price.
Yeah.
And if you want to negotiate, there's a door open for negotiation. If I say no, then it's a no. Don't try now to finesse and say, no, but what? No. That's how it is.
What is just out of interest, what is the main thing they use in trying to like finesse you? Like to bring your price down and they offer you something else? Is it like alcohol or?
It's always alcohol.
Okay.
Does it work?
Like, they always say like,
Depends.
they always say like,
depends
yeah,
what
but we're giving
alcohol.
you this much alcohol. Can't you take it? I'm like, yeah, but that is given. That is given.
That's like, that's
it's
additional.
normal.
That's
Yeah.
that's like,
because
that
it's on
is
some-
part of the quote.
It's on some, you can give us, we can agree on a price, whatever. And then we get there still the same price that I'm getting, the same price I'm using to buy alcohol. I'm not taking home anything.
No, yeah.
Exactly.
It's like, and listen, if you're talking like a bottle of 1942 uncapped, that's a different story.
That's a different story.
That's a good
a nice
fee.
Azul bottle, you know?
I need
Then we can.
I need to deserve it.
Unless you can resell it.
Look,
It's,
all I'm saying is, don't pay artists with alcohol.
Yeah,
alcohol,
that's true.
alcohol.
I'm
Don't
joking.
pay anyone in alcohol.
Yeah.
Full stop.
Actually, don't pay anyone with
don't-
alcohol.
Full stop.
Like
give alcohol
like
if it's a party
the dope
environment.
system stopped years ago
Yeah.
during apartheid. It stopped years ago. We're not using the dope system now.
We've learned.
Why are you paying me with alcohol?
Yeah, we have
Like-
too much alcoholism. Like, let's
Exactly.
cut that down.
Exactly.
Pay the
Okay.
homies what they need, and then people don't need to drink as much. You see the correlation here.
No, wait, before
Okay,
you
yeah.
like, I mean, if black coffee is playing, why are you not saying black coffee? I'm giving you so much alcohol. Cut down the
Come
price.
on, dude.
You
I
don't
gave
do
you- I
that.
gave you a
say,
six-pack. Like,
here's
lower
your
the
price.
price a
Here's
bit.
even alcohol.
Yeah.
They even always get better alcohol than us.
Of course.
Oh,
You get what I'm
yeah.
saying? They probably get unlimited, and we get like 2-3 bottles, and then they're forgetting broke is like a team of 20 guys.
The way
really
you say
cool-
that, makes me know you don't know what the number is either. You were like,
It's like 20 guys.
Like you can never know the right
Give or
number.
take.
Like I can tell you can never know the right number. Like you can never know.
it's roughly
it
20.
fluctuates.
Yeah, I estimate this 20. Estimate
That's
this 20.
fair. I'd say
Yeah.
that's a fair estimation.
But dope system, please don't stop.
Yeah.
Stop. Promoters, stop the dope system.
Well,
like,
there goes our PSA for the day without even intending it.
yeah, well, there you go. There's our PSA for
yeah,
this
no,
episode.
never stop the dope system. Like you
Stop
can't
it.
pay me with alcohol. Can't pay anyone with alcohol. Like,
On
no.
on that topic, Sindiso,
Yeah.
do you play better when you're stone cold sober?
Yeah.
Or when you have a few?
Or when you're
Keep it-
high. Is it high, drunk, or stone
Can
cold
I answer
sober?
that?
You
Yeah,
can answer.
he's gonna
Yeah.
answer,
I want to
he's
hear
gonna
both. I want to hear both. I want to hear both
He knows-
answers.
he
I
knows
want to hear
the
both
From
answers.
experience.
He knows the answer.
One, there's difference. When he's sober, he can play good.
Mm.
He plays good. When he's drunk, it's a mess. It's a mess. But when he's high, it's
Incredible.
even greater than you would even think.
It's
Locked
the
in.
best it can
Yeah,
be.
Locked in.
I think alcohol is the problem in this situation. You see, dope
See,
system,
that's
guys,
it. The dope
dope
system doesn't work. Your DJs will
Alcohol
play
is the when he's
worse.
drunk, he always just messes it up. Like I don't know why or what's happening, but when there's alcohol involved, it's never. But when he's high,
Yeah.
yo, like you would
Clean,
like
crisp,
I've heard
smooth.
people on a day when he plays, and it's like, yo, I'm so high, and I'm like, and people come back, it's like that was the best set I've ever had.
Best set I've ever had.
Best set ever.
Can I tell you the best gig that I ever went to? And I don't feel like it'll take so much for this to get top was the Clubhouse set with Mina, where everyone played. There was people on the table. It's just the energy that night was unmatched. And I want to know, were you drunk, sober, or high on
I
that
don't
night?
remember.
I was like,
What is
even
it?
they would mean you.
Yeah.
Yo.
That day, I don't remember that.
Yo.
That was wild, eh?
My best sets, it's like what I do is, you see, like I'm off Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday,
Mm-hmm.
then Thursday, we back at Clubhouse. So like what I do is Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, I'm collecting music. Thursday, I practice the set that I was planning. So like the best set that I play, it's on the Thursday when I'm like trying to get the set together.
It was on a Thursday.
You know? So like I plan like there's random gigs where I don't even prepare, just go play
Yeah.
easier in and out. Then there are gigs where like, oh, this is a big event and I'm there to show out and show up.
Boiler room.
So like you gave me Polar Room is one of the sets where like we sat down and like, yo, we curated, like we had a mood that we wanted to go with. Then Community 2, we had a wall mood that
Yeah.
we were going for.
Okay.
You know? So it's there. There's some gigs
it's like
where
a
like we
curation
sit down,
process
yeah, where we curate.
Mhm.
And it happens when I'm high. When I'm high, like I
Yeah,
sit down and
yeah.
like pay attention to the feeling that I'm getting with the mood that I'm trying to go with. So yeah.
I don't know. People must do some research into the influence, like the amount of influence that marijuana's had on,
Yeah.
like the great jazz innovators, like in the early 20s, and obviously throughout music. Like it's just good, man. It's good for the tunes. It's good for the inspiration.
Not to condone drugs, but they do have a role that they play in creatives, you know? Hence why others, they indulge in cocaine and whatever. The thing about drugs, it opens up a different world compared to the usual.
Does it like I feel like when you're sober you limit your thinking and
Yeah,
there's like a stopgap on it where like there's a certain like breaking point where you can't get past, but then when you smoke or like there's other substances that you can take to reach these kind of levels, like psychedelics are very helpful with this kind of stuff. I wouldn't recommend working,
Which we are officially not condoning.
We don't
just
condone
officially
drugs.
we do not condone it.
But we're just talking about the truth in the experience
and
of drugs.
do research.
Do
Yeah.
your research. There's certain ways, and like that's the thing is it doesn't work for everybody. But there are certain like if you're a certain way or if you have a certain persona,
Predisposition.
yeah. Then these substances can be very helpful to expanding your way of thinking and expanding your sort of your viewpoint on life in general, and that gets focused in on your work. But you allow yourself to think in different ways that you wouldn't allow yourself to think when you're just as you are.
It's being creative. It's opening your mind. It's being open-minded. You know, and finding the way that works for you to do that, and that's different for different people. Some people it's alcohol. Some people it's not.
We all have a drug of our own choice.
We all have a drug of choice, and
Your poison.
alcohol is the most deadly and problematic drug on planet Earth. So
So stop the dope system.
legalize the other shit and do some actual research on it.
Yeah.
Don't say that.
No, don't say that. Jesus.
Or don't.
On Boiler Room, what
Yeah.
was that experience like? Because
Boiler
that's obviously a
Jeepers.
huge international brand,
Damn, guys.
and I think it speaks to what
Wait.
Broke is doing.
Log to answer you, actually, Jared, to answer you, Boiler Room, like was one of the best gigs that I.
That was gonna go one of
as
two ways.
management, I was like, okay,
These guys know what's up.
No, this is
You're like, okay, job done.
it was like I was like Boiler Room. I was Boiler Room and Community actually.
Yeah.
Like they were like
Unreal.
unreal. Like
Mm.
it
No,
was
okay.
Boiler
it was
Room and
crazy.
Community for being
Talk
nice
us
to the
through
DJs.
through the like whole Boiler Room approaching you guys.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
Hmm.
Who's gonna go?
Once again, we're going back to lockdown.
Oh,
Yeah, that's also something
All
like
the shit happened in lockdown. man.
lockdown was like a weird time for us because we're losing family members at the same time we're like finding ourselves.
Mm.
You know, it's
Giving and
it's a
taking.
mind fucking situation to be in. You're finding yourself, but you're losing at the same time. So lockdown was chilling. We watched a lot of Boiler Room. We were like, it would be crazy to host a Boiler Room.
Speaking
We're
into
just chilling.
existence.
Speak it into
We're
existence,
just
baby.
chilling. We're talking about it. Everything happens. All right, fast forward. It's 2021. 21.
It was.
Was
I
it this
think
year? I
yeah,
think it was early this year.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it was early this year. Pino was working with Dr. Goose this year. So Pino was Dr.
Oh, yeah,
Goose.
yeah.
Oh yeah, what happened is
Sharice.
we had Sharice came through. Mina came
Yeah.
through. Yeah, we at Clubhouse. It was this
Yeah.
year, ne?
It was this year because
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sharice,
Mina was
Sharice,
this year.
yeah,
Mina was this
Sharice
year.
was the one who actually hosted a Boiler Room in UK before.
Yeah.
And then they hit me up one time and they're like, they want to play at
The
Clubhouse.
Clubhouse.
And
Yeah.
then she played and then she was
Crazy. I said,
mind
nah.
blown.
Nah,
Like she was
she had a good time.
boom. So I think she also like said some things because she has done Boiler Room. She's recently also done one in Ibiza.
Ibiza, yeah.
Wow.
And he actually played one of our songs.
Yeah.
Yeah, he actually played two.
Yeah. Two.
Yeah, two songs.
Broke boys worldwide.
Broke boys
Boys
So, yeah.
worldwide.
To carry on, Sharice goes back to London. She's like, hey, yo, go back to Cape Town. There's this broods broke. I bet the team comes because the True Music Fund with Valentine's, which happened in lockdown.
Mhm.
So Alex Prime was one of the guys who got
Yes.
the fund.
That is a tank right there.
You get me? So now they're back in the city. One of the people that work there, they went to Dr. Kuz, the fine Pino there. Oh, she starts asking, hey, yo, what's the scene like? Then she starts asking, who's Prime, who's Alex? Then Pino tells her, nah, Alex is the homie, he throws parties and everything, nah. So they start talking, like, yo, I heard about Broke Boys from Sharice and you're wearing a Broke tee. And it's like, nah, Broke, it's me and the homies, blah, 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 blah. This is what we do. And the chick left. And Pino decided to, like, they exchange Instagram, whatever. Pino like send her like 20 messages. Oh, this is what we do with the homies. Send her videos from the house party that we had New Year. All the videos, Clubhouse, everything. Sent her everything. Like, then she went through all the videos. She's like, yo, the energy is crazy. I think we
Unmatched.
should let's do something. That's how it came about.
Unreal.
Damn.
Yeah.
Props to you guys for
Crazy.
That's
For-
wild. It's not the first Boiler Room in Cape Town, but it's one of the It's one of the first.
Really?
No,
It's not the
this one was the
first.
first one after a while.
Because
Yeah,
I remember there was one a while back. I think it was like 2017, 2018.
Yeah, the
2019.
last one was where
2019.
No Name
19.
Gypsy was here.
No.
During,
That's not the last one. The last one where it was
Yeah.
hosted by
it was in that
2019.
like where it was in that like studio warehouse where
It was what's that?
Some like in the sky somewhere.
in the sky it was
No,
in like the
that building. What's
Vatican.
that building? News 24.
Yes,
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 it was in the
Oh,
News
yeah,
24
News
building.
24,
It was in the
yeah,
News
yeah.
24.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, no hate, that was nowhere close to yours.
Yeah,
Yeah,
genuine, like
there's
yeah,
no-
genuinely no shade because well done.
No,
but-
those are the homies. Shout out. They're the homies. I feel like it's because Boiler Room came back in a while.
Mhm.
You
It
know?
had been brewing. It had been
Yeah,
bubbling.
it had been.
And I think there's a lot, like, I think people are paying a lot of attention to Cape Town internationally.
It's
and
starting
that's
to
why,
definitely.
I also say like they also one of the reasons why this boiler room was so like
Mm.
monumental is
Mm.
because if you look at the history of boiler rooms, they never go for people like broke. They always go for the most prominent,
like commercial headliner.
commercial
type.
headliners.
What's going to bring in the
I mean,
attention?
in Cape Town, they could have went for Dawson or all these other guys,
Mm.
but then
Shout
they
out
went
Dawson.
for a complete different direction. Whereas I think the week before, 2 weeks before, in Pretoria and Joburg, they were having a boiler room. It was
The 40 experience.
it was Devin Gogo. It was all these headliners, like all of
the
them.
finest.
Focusing
acts.
all the finest. It was cool, whatever, sharp. But in Cape Town, it was like people that most people know, but not a lot of people outside of the culture in
Yeah.
Cape Town know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Fizz and Shy.
Yeah, powerful.
You're
Powerful.
Yo, I watched, that was the set before
At Hot
Back to
Box.
Back at Hot Box.
Yes,
That was a fire set.
They're good.
That was the fastest.
So I think that's what made this boiler room like out of this world.
Yeah,
Like,
to
it
top
was
it off
crazy.
with Zakes. Ish.
Hey.
I mean, on like to, I feel like we didn't need Zakes, to be honest.
Yeah, of course.
I mean,
But what he adds is
No, I
insane.
get you, but not taking away from how great he is.
Mm.
That's why we had him on the lineup.
Yes, yes.
But
yes.
I feel like I was underwhelmed by his by his
You'd rather
performance.
be happy with the 80%.
Not quite.
From him.
I feel like because they asked us for the lineup, and we sent like shit tons of names, and we wanted the lineup to be 100% Cape Town. That's
Okay.
what we wished for.
Yeah.
We wanted like 100%, like
100%
everyone.
in every single
know?
aspect.
But they're like, yo, Mila, the sponsor was like, yo, we need a headliner, and we put down Zek's name.
I mean, shout out to Zakes. Incredible.
No, it was a great performance. But I feel like everyone was waiting for Osama. That's what took away from the performance.
Okay, I see
Everyone
what you- I see what you
expected.
mean, yeah.
Everyone, because after Osama, everyone was like, oh, okay.
But like, not to take away from Zakes, that's what he is in a lot of people's eyes. He's just
At the moment.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, of course.
Yeah,
He's
Yeah.
just Osama at the moment.
you gave me.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, I'm just,
It comes down to one of those things where your intent was to do it 100% Cape Town.
yeah.
And when then a sponsor comes back to you and says you have to add someone onto that, you know,
Yeah,
to
yeah.
and again, shout out Zakes, incredible performer. It's, you know, but it comes to that was your intent going into the project. And whenever you have to compromise on intent because of a sponsor or whatever, no matter how good that no matter how good that performance is, it'll always feel like a compromise on intent
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it's completely irrelevant who that other person is. That, you know, how good their performance is completely irrelevant. It feels weird because it's not where the heart was. And I mean, you know, I think we have all the talents in Cape Town to, you know, put on boiler rooms with a fully Cape Town lineup, and
Every couple of months.
I commend you guys for striving for that.
Boiler room, if you're watching.
Boiler room, the conversation you're having with the venue that might take over the contract, do it.
Insider information, I suppose.
Yeah.
So,
Anyways, put more eyes on the talent in Cape Town because it's world class, and people need to be seeing that and sharing that, and that's why I think it's so cool that. That's why I think it's so cool that they came in to work with you guys as well. In particular, instead of going for, hey, let's just build a lineup of, the most commercial headliners. It'll bring in the most eyes. And I think it's an acknowledgement of what you guys as performers, as individual performers, and as Broke as a collective have made a serious impact, that they're not going the straight commercial easiest answer route. And
Actually,
they're
just
going
to
with
add
you guys.
on to like what you're saying, like putting people on. A lot of people might not know, but we actually are open to having upcoming DJs, rappers, or whoever to come and perform actually at Clubhouse.
A Clubhouse.
If you want to come play at Clubhouse,
Please.
just let us know. And then
Tiger's Milk on Clove Street if you're not familiar, which you should be. So shame on you.
Get
We're
out
always
from under your
willing to
rock.
have people come and play
Mm.
and whatnot, just to help them with their also getting their ground solid and all that stuff.
One thing I love about the Clubhouse gig is the sort of like dynamism of it, because like it's so funny. I've come for nights at Clubhouse where I've come to like party and I've come to like let loose and do my thing, and it's been like some of the best nights of my life. But then there's been other nights where I'm going for dinner with my family and we're going to Tiger's Milk, and I'll pop in for a quick 10 minutes, little like say hello to everyone, and then I'm back to dinner. And I really like that because it allows for the audience to grow naturally and organically, because people could be coming to Tiger's Milk because it's a fun place to go. You go get food, you go get drinks, and all of a sudden there's like one of the hottest gigs in Cape Town right there, and you're like, oh shit, I didn't even know this was here. And then you pop in and you do your thing. So I really do appreciate that. But I do have one last question, because I do genuinely want to know what has been one of the lowlights of managing DJs. What's been like a nightmare gig? You arrive and there's no DJ equipment, or they haven't like prepared anything. What's been kind of
I
like?
suppose it's probably the same story between the two of you guys. So.
Yeah.
Or
Maybe-
just- or just-
what's
Could
been
be
your
different.
what's been your nightmare gig?
I
basically?
think it could be different for me. Yo.
Well, it's good that nothing stands out.
It's good that or that there's too much choice.
One of the two.
I think there's two, but I was not there for both of them. I think there's one.
Which one?
I think it's one when you were in Joburg for the whole thing, and then
Oh yeah.
I don't know. they
Yeah,
didn't-
that's a bad
they,
one.
They called me, and then they're like, somebody didn't want to do something, and I wasn't there too, because I know if I was there, it would have happened. But it was that one, and then another one, nightmare. Oh, actually, no, I'm lying.
Here we go.
I'm lying. Scratch that.
He's
Rewind,
reseated
rewind.
himself.
You don't have to mention names if you don't
Do
want to,
an
but
edit.
please do mention names.
Do an
if-
edit.
Just-
Actually, the worst one. Yo, it was. What was it? It was a holiday. What is the last popular holiday we had? I think it's either Women's Day
it was Women's Day,
or
wasn't it?
Freedom Day. It
Women's Day
Freedom
was
Day.
August.
No, it was Freedom Day.
It was Freedom Day.
Yeah, that was the worst one. The one that you I don't know what you were doing.
Which one now?
You were playing. I think you were drunk or something, and then you were playing, and then you were not supposed to play Gom, and then you played Gom, and then thinking was supposed International was supposed to play Gom after you.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Exactly. Yeah, no, that was the worst. That was the worst.
Where were we?
It was. They said not say names.
Where?
Oh, but you can
Whisper
was-
to him.
it-
We don't mind names, but you
Oh,
can
we'll
whisper to
bleep
him.
this out. We'll bleep
Where was
it
it?
out. We'll bleep it out.
It was.
Just- I knew it. I knew it.
Remember
We'll bleep that.
when Elston brought in too many people.
Dalston.
Yo, I don't remember.
The last event that we had.
Our one.
Yeah, the last event we had.
You said our event.
Yeah,
The
our
one was
event. The
the-
last one we had.
This one.
It was the worst.
Yo, that's a lot of
was the worst
bleeps.
experience because of that.
It was the last event we had.
Exactly. That's why nobody
I
wants to
get
even
you.
remember
I
that.
get you.
Sindiso just completely blocked it from his
I
memory.
like
That has been
Trauma
erased.
response. He's
That
just
day,
like,
everybody's morale was just
Team morale was down.
yeah, it was
Down.
it was down because so many things were not.
And that's the thing, is it doesn't have to be like big standout things. It can be like little things that
Yeah.
just keep things just aren't clicking, and the energy isn't there. Someone's a little bit feeling a bit rough. Someone brings too many people. Someone's had a bit too much to drink, and it just, the correlation isn't there, and it accumulates into this fucking shit show.
Yeah, I think that was the worst one
Fair enough.
as the group. But then the worst one personally, sorry, the worst one personally was when I was with Mzwa. We went to some place in Obs. So already had an agreement of payment and alcohol. And then when we get there, they didn't want to take out the alcohol. Mzwa literally went to the DJ booth, took his memory stick, switched off, and we walked out. Because they didn't want to listen.
Gangster.
That was
is
the
a
worst one, but the
gangster
most I like, okay, yeah, that was.
You went aware respect.
Yeah, that's like
literally
respect game. That's-
Mid groove, people were partying and all that, and then he just and then left, and then people were like, "Hey, DJ," and then they came running. We're like, "No, we gave you a chance."
You had all the time in the world to get everything sorted, and you didn't. You tried to schnei us, and look what happened.
And good for you guys.
Good
because,
for you for that takes
and
balls.
because in all seriousness, you guys are now seriously at a point where other young DJs and other young creators are looking up to what you guys are doing and the standard that you guys are setting, and
that's the standard you should be
that's
setting.
the standard you should be
Don't
setting.
take
And
shit
it's
from
gonna,
organizers.
it's going to empower so many other young DJs to take this, and other performers to take the same position. Nice one, Jared.
Jesus, is
Yes,
that
yes.
is
5
that
o'clock
time?
alarm?
Fuck.
I don't know why I have a 5 o'clock alarm on.
Anyways, what was that? That really pulled me
Sorry.
right off my thinking thread, but it's
The
fine.
young DJs looking up to
Them.
Yeah, so I mean that was that thought wrapped. I had a second one that led onto it. But
Coinz will
it's
just
fine.
answer the question. Also, say his last embarrassing.
Yeah,
gig.
what's your worst
Yeah,
gig?
yeah,
Your
yeah.
nightmare gig.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I never dwell into the pain moments. Me, my thinking is always on some. What about the next one? I don't think about the past one, whatever. So that's why, like, it's even hard to remember this one, the one Khumo is talking about, because I'm always on some
It's
never
yeah.
about
You
what
don't
I
hold
did, it's
grudges.
about
No,
what I'm
like
about
no
to do.
focusing on the past negativity.
Yeah.
Just onto the next gig.
Yeah,
Make sure
yeah,
that's
yeah.
the best one.
Yeah.
I respect
Well,
that.
that's a very good answer, and I commend you for it. I
answer.
think on that
No,
note,
Yeah.
that is, but that's how I
no,
always move.
but like if that's the case, then that's
Yeah.
true, and that's also important, and that's a completely valid mindset. On that note, we are going to wrap things up to keep it a nice tight episode that people listen all the way
Well,
through.
Before we do,
Yes, Jared.
any last words from you guys?
Yeah,
You wanna
anything to
say?
plug? Visa.
Yeah.
Go stream it on all platforms. Buy it on iTunes. It's a fucking banger.
Last word is on the behalf of the team, we're gonna need a bigger pipeline because there's a lot in the pipeline.
That's what we like to
Bigger
Yeah.
pipeline
hear.
needed next season.
Also, look out for the listening session party
Yes.
Yeah.
for the album.
That's gonna be an
I need
experience.
to be on.
Yes,
It's
That's gonna be an
Media for that.
experience.
Yes.
And
Check
Even
out.
though we put it on hold now because there's so many things happening, but
It's
It's
coming.
good.
Yeah.
It's
It's
teasing
coming.
it. It's gonna come later.
yeah, the
coming.
plan that we had is like
Make sure you go follow Coins and Khumo on
Fine, too.
Instagram.
And Broke,
follow the
We're
Broke
Broke,
Boys,
Brokewear,
all the
and We're
various
Broke.
Instagrams.
Mhm.
We'll tag them all down below.
In the
Thank
description.
you so much for listening to this episode of the CAYACast. Make sure you like, subscribe,
Comment,
comment,
comment, comment broke.
No, and Brooks. Broke
Comment
and
Brooks, Brooks and broke.
PNP.
Brooks and
BNB,
Broke.
baby. BNB.
Thank you so much.